Welcome back to the Triple XP Arcade, the podcast where nerd culture levels up. We're here to press X on all things nerdy, so grab a token, press start, and let's rack up some
Triple XP!
Today in the arcade, as always, we have myself, Drew.
Hey everyone, Lex is logged in here.
What's up? It's Gigs.
On today's episode, we're going to be kicking off our October Outbreak series of episodes. These are episodes that are sort of Halloween or spooky themed. So we're going to be posting a full release schedule of what to expect for each Friday in October. So please make sure to check out our socials and you'll be able to see what's coming up for the entire month of October. For today, we're going to get things kicked off with our zombie apocalypse episode. Now, I know that sounds kind of vague when you look at that on the schedule, but our zombie apocalypse episode today is going to be our zombie survival strategy, let's say. So if a zombie apocalypse were to break out today, everybody knock on wood, we're just going to be chatting kind of openly about what our strategy would be, how we would survive, and sort of what things we would do. So grab a pen, grab a pad of paper, take some notes just in case there's some good tips here you might want to pick up, and let's figure out how we get through this zombie apocalypse together. So the first thing that we should probably set the stage for is, what kind of zombies are we talking about? We have a lot of different varieties of zombies. There's zombies from video games, there's zombies from movies. From your guys' perspective, what do you think is like the most feasible type of zombies that would happen in a spontaneous outbreak? So we're talking let me give you kind of like some framework here. We're talking like we have a regular, kind of our classic George A. Romero zombies, which are like the slow groaning ones who are like brains. And we're talking like Walking Dead and Dawn of the Dead or any of those George A. Romero movies. And then we have the other side of the spectrum, which are like the really intense, fast ones from like Train to Busan or World War Z, where they're climbing walls like ants and things like that. So from your perspective, what do you think is the most feasible one that would pop up?
I think if it's transmitted through like a bite or whatever, then it would have to be the super fast, aggressive ones, right? Because no one's going to let themselves get bit past like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a certain point where everyone's just going to be like, oh, okay, let me just walk a little bit faster and it will be all right.
Well, that's actually a really good point. Do you feel like the movies or the TV shows that we see where it's those slow walker zombies, do you feel like there's kind of a level of disbelief when you watch those because you're like, well, if these zombies are so slow, then it would be very easy for me to survive?
Yeah, I think so. In those cases, though, isn't it usually like, isn't it transmitted differently in those? And that's why people got infected in the first place, is like, you know, like an airborne virus or something like that. Spores.
Yeah, I think it depends. I think some of those cases are like, I guess we should preface that there will be spoilers for stuff in this episode. So please be warned if you're planning to do a whole zombie binge in October. But in The Walking Dead, for example, everyone's already infected. So it's just a matter of you not being alive anymore in order to turn into the zombie, right? So it's not necessarily like the bite that makes you a zombie. You're just like already there with the virus, and then you eventually turn. I don't know. What do you think, Lex?
I'm more leaning towards more of the super fast ones. Like, I'm going under the impression that the apocalypse isn't some sort of thing where we all die then turn, but rather we're infected and turn. And in my kind of like my thought process to that is, if you're infected and you turn, you still have like your strength and your mobility, versus when you die, you kind of like have to like gain it back, if that makes sense. It's like waking up and running versus already awake and running. You know?
Okay.
To gain it back, like the zombies have to go to zombie pump gym and like do some cardio before they go for brains.
Yeah, but for some reason, I always think like if something were to happen, like the infected would be aggressive and quick
Yeah,
versus slow.
Yeah.
I agree, because it doesn't make, to me, it just doesn't make sense that any kind of virus would propagate if it's like slow like that, unless it was through another means, right?
Yeah, like you know, if they're smart enough to attack something living, I feel like they have the strength and mobility to do so. Like there's something going on in their brains, like they're attacking, right? Like if you think of like an animal, they're not going to slowly daunt over you and then nibble on you. It's going to be like a Russian bite.
Yeah, it like turns people more animalistic sort of idea.
Yeah. That's kind of my thought process, and that's what I would be preparing for. If it was slower, then my thoughts would be changed. But maybe we can do both sides of the spectrum. I don't know.
Well, I actually agree with both of you. I think a more realistic scenario would be these faster types of zombies, and I think back to The Walking Dead, which is kind of like, it kind of suspends the belief. I know we're talking zombie apocalypse, but it suspends the belief of how challenging this would be, because you have The Walking Dead, and they call them walkers there because they're kind of slow and stumbling across, moving in herds, right? And they make such a big point through the first few seasons of that show to be like, zombies are dangerous. You got to stay away from zombies. We got to be careful. Like, you know, you got to be very agile to maneuver around them safely. And then there's this one scene, and this might spoil it because I don't think you've made it all the way through, Gigs. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I stopped season 2.5, something like that.
Okay, so this was a little bit of a spoiler, but there's this one moment in one of the later seasons where Rick gets upset about something, and I think you remember this, Lex. He gets upset, and then he walks out into a zombie horde with just a hatchet, and he just mows down like 70 zombies in just one rage-filled rampage with just a hatchet. And after that moment or that scene, that's kind of when I stopped watching, because I was like, you've made me feel like these zombies are a huge threat for whatever 5-6 seasons now, but you're telling me that Rick can just go out with a hatchet in the middle of a horde and take out like 100 of these seasons by himself? So from that perspective already, I was like, okay, Walking Dead types of zombies are probably not the most realistic types that I would like to prepare for. Because if Rick can do it by himself, I feel like anyone can do it by themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the strength or like the power adjustments in Walking Dead is very different. Like, you know, that scene where he takes out 100 zombies, but then you get like another character who trips on a stick, then gets bit. I'm like, what?
Yeah. And they're on the ground, and this zombie is sort of like casually stumbling towards them for like 3 minutes, and this person's panicking.
I just thought of Sideshow Bob stepping on a rake. That has nothing to do with zombies, but like that's where my brain went.
Well, let's pin that thought, Gigs, because if we were talking about Walking Dead versions of zombies, I just feel like surrounding your house with rakes is a very valid defense strategy. Okay, so we are all on the same page. We're going to be thinking about preparing for these fast versions of zombies. More realistically, we would probably be thinking about like the 28 days later version, where I think they position it as like a rage virus. So these aren't like zombies that are trying to eat brains necessarily, but just like people that are infected with like a rage-filled virus. So their aggro is super high, and they're just like basically like humans with rabies is basically what it's like, right?
Yeah. Like hyper violent and like
So then let's put another qualifier in there. If we're talking about these fast 28 days later zombies, are we going to say that these zombies have the main motivation of eating brains or just attacking things?
I think attacking.
Yeah.
The eating brains thing, what isn't that just like the Romero zombies? Because I don't think zombies in general give a crap about brains in like other media. You know what I mean? Like they're more just like, I'll eat human or I'll eat things.
Yeah.
Even each other, right? It's just like
Yeah, I think brains is just kind of like a generic zombie trope, but you're right. You don't see that a ton in a lot of like movies or TV. It's usually they're just eating things, living
Yeah.
things. Right?
Flesh and
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Okay, so we've set the stage. We have fast zombies. We're talking rage-filled zombies where they're just kind of ready to attack anything that moves. And we turn on the TV and we find out that a zombie outbreak has started in our city. This is where the game starts. What do we do? What's for both of you? What's the first plan? What's the first thing that you do when you see that news report on TV?
Okay, I think first of all, in relation to the news, are we all in the same city or are we separated?
Let's say we're all in the same city.
Same city. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How far along has the zombie event gone on? Is it like a few people, or are we talking it's crazy downtown sort of deal?
So let's say that in this scenario, it's far gone enough where it's an actual outbreak. It's not just like we've noticed one or two people at the hospital. This is like people are now actively scrambling to flee the city and start doing their preparations and stuff. So we're like right in the thick of it.
Okay. Got it. I would immediately try and find a weapon just in case my neighbors were turned or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the immediate threat. That would be my first move. Would just
Okay.
be to, which, I have one beside the bed. I'd probably just grab that.
Okay. So what's your just with what's in your surroundings right now without leaving the house or trying to find something more efficient? What's your first sort of zombie defense weapon that you're grabbing?
For me, I got my little Tanto knife that I bought recently. It's just like a little sheathed utility knife.
Okay,
It's like
you're,
a
camping and
yeah, exactly.
okay, yeah. How about you, Lex?
I'll be completely honest. I'm very ill prepared for an outbreak. If it were to happen like tonight, or even this month, I'm very ill prepared. So my only weapon I have is the Master Sword from The Legend of Zelda.
Oh my goodness.
No, you can't use that. It breaks, and then it goes to cooldown for 10 minutes.
What is it? What is it actually made out of?
Steel.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty
Or are you
robust.
talking about like Zelda? Like it's made out of ancient steel.
No.
Filled with
Ancient,
energy.
I will tell you, ancient steel is inferior steel.
Okay, so what you're saying, Lex, is you have a steel version of the Master Sword in your
Yeah.
house right now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to use it because it's a collectible.
Oh my goodness. Wouldn't you? Okay. I've seen your kitchen. Wouldn't you just grab one of like your cleavers
okay,
or something?
I have some kitchen knives that are like
Yeah,
pretty
there
high
you go.
quality.
Yeah.
So for you listeners, very likely, I will be the first one to go. Because I actually wouldn't even think about getting a weapon. Like, if I saw the outbreak and I'm like, oh my god, what do? I'd be thinking Costco run. I gotta go to a Costco and I gotta stack up on some non-perishables.
That's fair.
That's actually a very valid strategy. I think both of those actually, like
Yeah.
initially looking for some sort of defense type of weapon, looking for immediate sort of food and supplies. Definitely two things that pop into mind first. I think for me, it's easy enough for me to grab something because I don't have a steel replica Master Sword in the house, but I do have sort of nerd things around the house. I wonder if my replica lightsaber could do the trick.
No,
I'm not
absolutely not.
I'm not thinking it could slice through anything, but I'm thinking more of it acting as like a blunt sort of baseball bat.
Yeah, like a Donatello stick.
A
Yeah.
broom would literally work better than that.
But this double functions as a light source too, though, right?
Yeah.
That's oh right, that's true.
I appreciate you both humoring me. You're like, okay, yeah, I can see how that worked. Yeah, I would first grab something. I think the nerd part of me wants to be like, I want to grab something cool. I want to grab like a katana or something, so I
Okay.
can be like very badass. But I think functionally, honestly, I think like a golf club makes the most sense with the weight and the impact of being able to use that as like a semi-distanced type of defense mechanism, right?
That's
Which
a good weapon, yeah.
you're talking hybrid? We're talking 3-iron? We're talking what, like a sand wedge? I think a sand wedge would get you killed.
I think like a 3-iron. Does
Yeah.
that exist? 5-iron.
Yeah, 3-irons exist.
Yeah, the more the better, I think.
That's what I was thinking. I think an iron over a driver. I feel like I
Yes.
don't trust the integrity of a driver head.
No,
So,
that thing would shatter
Yeah.
Yeah.
immediately. Also, you don't want a carbon fiber shaft. You would want a steel shaft because it needs to handle, because the carbon fiber will break brittly, and then you'd
That's
be
right.
SOL after that.
That's right. For some of our listeners who have listened to some of our previous episodes, they may recall that the three of us also have bow and arrows that we picked up during the, what were we saying? It was the Hunger Games type
Yeah,
of era, but there was something else.
It was Hawkeye,
Avengers.
Katniss
Yeah,
Everdeen,
Yeah.
and I think there's other things in media at the time.
But
Okay.
I think my issue with that bow and arrow is I only have 3 arrows, so
Yeah, you're SOL after.
it'll quickly diminish.
So to clarify, the issue is the number of arrows, not your skill set in using the bow and arrow.
Yeah, I need infinite ammo, like how I play games.
Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you say is your skill level or your comfortability to be able to use a bow and arrow in this scenario where we have like our 28 days later fast zombies? Gigs?
We're talking like 10 is like Legolas, and 1 is I don't even know what 1 would be. Gym class
Yeah.
in junior high.
Archery in junior high level.
I'm at like a 3, I think.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. Lex?
Like a 0.3.
Like an entire factor down from Gigs?
Yeah, I don't think I can even hit like a target when we were doing archery at stationary items.
That's true.
So
The
if
hay
there's, like,
bale.
an aggressive human running at me, like I'm gonna be thinking, like, oh, I have to have the feathers not, or I have to have the top feather out, and then knock it, and then by that time I'll be bitten already.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, by that point, I'd say screw it and just like hit them with the bow. I wouldn't even
like,
try.
like a bat.
For just a quick funny side anecdote for our listeners, we went to this archery range in our city, and we were using the bow and arrows that we bought to take up the hobby, and we were shooting at a target that was maybe, I don't want to say maybe 10 feet away from us. So we were shooting at this target, and we were getting some hits, we were getting some misses, and one of the staff members from the archery place came up, and they told us that, hey guys, this target's actually for children, so you can't be shooting at this. You have to shoot at the wall, which is like 30 feet away. And then we switched over to trying to shoot at the wall, and I would say more often than not, our arrows weren't even making it to the wall, let alone sticking.
Yeah.
So I think I'm with both of you. I think in terms of comfortability with a bow and arrow, I'm going to be down at that 3 below type of range. So I think we can scrap that off as a valid defense tool for all 3 of us, right?
Yeah. For a ranged thing, I gotta
okay.
go with something else. That's no dice.
So I think if this were to happen, obviously my first thing would be texting our group chat and figure out what you're all up to, so then we can divvy up our resources. Like,
Smart.
are we meeting up at a certain point? What are we doing? Who's doing what? I'm running to Costco. Do you guys need anything? You know?
So let's dive a little bit into that concept. So let's say just for the ease of the flow, that we are all connected communication wise, and let's make it tricky. We're all at our separate houses, right? So Lex, you said your first inclination is to like run to Costco, grab some non-perishables, right?
Yeah.
Now, considering that this outbreak is like well in effect, do you think that Costco would already be overrun by people that are going to be trying to loot everything that they can from Costco?
I mean, it's not different from a regular day at Costco, so
It's very true. Did I tell you guys last year I broke my little toe at Costco because a lady ran over my foot with a cart? Yeah, it went purple and everything, and it was yeah, I literally broke my pinky toe. It was so sad.
That's without a zombie outbreak happening too.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
just like a sale on something. I don't even know.
Toilet paper.
Toilet, yeah, exactly.
like
Cheap gift cards or something.
I think the thing is, like, I'm thinking about going to these places because if I'm watching the news and I'm seeing the outbreak happening, my initial gut reaction is people are going to try and get out of the city. But from watching all these, like, TV shows and movies, exiting the city is almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like once everyone's, like, on the streets trying to get out, I feel like the people that are looting, they're not going to be focused on, like, hurting people. They're trying to, like just stack up, So
Yeah.
every man for themselves. I feel like it'll be a little bit more organized than like a sale at Costco, because everything's free at this point. It's you can carry.
You said more organized.
Yeah. Because everyone's gonna come in. There's only so much you can take, and then you got to peace out right away. Like everyone's in a rush, right?
Yes.
And bonus, you don't have to line up to check out. So
I feel like you could literally just drive through the garage door at the entrance, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It is a huge garage door. You could just barrel on through there.
yeah.
True.
But no, yeah, that's gut reaction. Like pick up supplies because I'm planning not on leaving immediately.
Interesting.
No, that's a good point, because I think a lot of people, the first sort of knee-jerk instinct is, okay, well, I got to get out of the city. But you're right, in a lot of these movies and TV shows, they do sort of indicate that if there's an active outbreak that happens, they sort of close the city borders to contain the zombie virus within the city, right? They don't want, if this is just where it's contained, they don't want people like going to neighboring cities and potentially spreading, right? So it's probably very likely that you're going to be stuck in the city for some amount of time, at least once you hear about it.
I feel like we should make the rule for the discussion that we have to stay within the city, because we also have a very fortunate location where it's very easy to get away from people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 20 minutes from my place, I can be in the middle of nowhere. So it's not too bad. Plus I have a truck, so I don't have to obey the rules of the road in this. You know what I mean? Like I'm on the shoulder. I'm in the dirt, like immediately.
Yeah.
Isn't that how you regularly drive?
Excuse me. I only have a quarter ton pickup. Mine's a tiny little guy.
Just a quarter ton. Okay. Doesn't count as a truck then, right?
No. It's more like it's a wagon.
Okay, so I was thinking, because you're right, Lex, very valid strategy. Costco has everything that'll be there. I was initially thinking that a place that would be less frequently or less popular by people, but still has the same types of things. My first thought was like, what about like Whole Foods or Planet Organic?
Okay.
Oh, see, like the thing with those ones is they're located in residential areas, so it's the fastest one to get to, Like if you're gonna go to like an IGA or a Sobeys or something like that, those are typically located within a neighborhood, so people can walk or drive there within minutes. But for Costco's, it's like you have to go onto a highway, you have to enter like a plaza.
That's true,
right? It's not as easy to get to it, so I feel like it'd be less common for someone to go there because you're not gonna like. I feel like a lot of people aren't gonna actively go into a plaza and be like, oh my god, there's a Best Buy. I better go grab a TV first.
It's detached, right? Costco's are always its own, especially like there's a couple. There's one north of our city and one way down the south west where that's the only thing. It's just a Costco and then a huge parking lot.
Yeah.
But like, for like a Whole Foods, for example, you just turn out of your neighborhood and boom, it's like right there. And how many people within the neighborhood are thinking the same thing? Like they turn out and be like, oh, look at that. Whole Foods, yeah.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point. Okay, so Costco, probably logistically, maybe actually one of the better bets. And going back to sort of transportation that we mentioned, so Gigs, you have a truck or a what did you say, a quarter ton?
Quarter ton.
Yeah, I got a taco. I love the thing, but yeah, it'll do what it needs to.
Okay. Now we have or ride motorcycles. Is this, as a motorcycle, a valid form of transportation during a zombie apocalypse?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
You could. No one's catching you on that thing. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you had my old Roadstar, that thing sucked. But if you have anything else, you're in good shape. If you have a dual sport, you're laughing, right?
But I feel like if you have a motorcycle and there's an outbreak happening, aren't people going to be way more dangerous on the road, and you have much less protection at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just avoid them a lot easier. Like you can avoid anything on a motorcycle, especially if you can go off road. Like, yeah, you could stay like really far away from anybody, even if they're like running at you. You're in good shape, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that's a key here is the type of motorcycle that you have, because you do need to be able to go off road with this. So I currently have a cruiser. It's not, I wouldn't say it's off-road friendly. I think if I come to a barricade in the street, whether it's cars or just whatever some barricade is, I don't even think I'd be able to hop a curb and, go through a field of freshly mowed grass.
You would bottom out on the curb, man.
Yeah.
Like,
so I think in this particular scenario for myself, because of the type of bike I have, I'm going to have to pass on the motorcycle as a form of transportation. But I do agree with what you're saying, Gigs. I think if you have the proper bike, I think that could be the most efficient, even and from a gas perspective too, right?
That's the other thing. You need so much less gas. Like if you're trying to make your fuel stash last for as long as possible, that's the best way to do it.
Okay, so we're looking for some supplies, some perishables, some food, those types of things. How long are you thinking that you need to prepare your supplies for like, I'm assuming the plan is like you're kind of hunkering down in like a house. Probably the three of us and our families, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're hunkering down in a house. How long do you think we need to hold the fort before we're starting to do things like leaving the house, looking for exit strategies or things like that?
I give like a month's supply. I don't even know. I feel like you really got to get in on trying to find your own sustainable way to feed yourself pretty quick. Plus, anything more than that, I think you're starting to get really like you're hurting for space.
Yeah. What do you think, Lex? How long are you thinking?
At least 2 months for me. I mean, a month is... I already do that.
Actually, yeah, now you say that. It's like,
I
guess like the house is... Yeah, I'm probably equipped for almost a month in our house currently.
Yeah.
So we're thinking that probably after a month, 2 months potentially is the idea. Well, like maybe you guys explain. What's your vision that's after 2 months? What's the plan after you've kind of held the fort down for a few months?
Well, like so after like getting a weapon and stuff, I'd be trying to plan. I wouldn't be like rushing out to get stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely be trying to figure out a plan for your basics, right? Because this is a survival situation and you got to think of it in that sense, like same as, the power goes out, there's a hurricane, any sort of natural disaster, you should have like there's a word for them. I can't say emergency kit, I guess, ready. And I'd just be making sure my emergency kit and my go bag and all that stuff is stocked and ready. Mm-hmm. That would be my first thing. And then the second thing would be to plan out the way to acquire the rest of your needs. So that's heat, that's water, food, and power, I believe, and something else, communications. So it'd be trying to figure out how to have those things ready and set indefinitely. Like you need to have a plan for that, right? So that would be my thing.
And how about you, Lex? What's sort of the plan if your initial stage is hunkering down? What's your plan?
I guess the first question is, how many of us are in the house? Like you said, us and our families. Is that like parents, siblings?
Let's just kind of like blanket say we're able to manage to get 20 of us in a house together.
Okay. Like after 2 months, I feel like it's a little bit more safe to be in the outdoors. So I would actually be looking for items that can fortify like our fort at this point. Because for me, I don't see myself traveling. You know, I'd rather stay in the one spot and just, you know, fortify as much as we can, like set traps like Home Alone style, or build
the Christmas ornaments all over your house.
Yeah, like noise traps or like stronger fences.
Smart, yeah.
Fortify the doors, the windows,
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So your overall big picture game plan is just you're kind of fortifying where you are. You wouldn't have any intentions or plans to kind of venture out and find a different place.
That's a good question. I feel like if we lasted there 2 months, the area is going to be pretty safe. So if anything, I would start expanding to the neighboring houses and go from there. So rather than just a single house, you kind of take over like the adjoining houses around you and then fortify from there. So we have the space. We have the space to like, you know, plant stuff for food and everything like that. And you have like a relatively safe area there.
Yeah. So you're thinking expansion. So you're going to have some.
That's a good one.
You're gonna have some exploration parties to go out and get your mortgage approvals from the bank. You're gonna have to play Mortgage Simulator to maybe do some prep on that front.
Yeah, play some Breath of the Wild to understand how to cook.
That's interesting. I would try and move. Honestly,
Good move. Okay.
Yeah, I would try and find somewhere with like natural defenses, fortifications. Like, I would maybe go to the zoo. To be honest, like our zoo is in a pretty sick spot for this sort of event because it's on an island, right? So you have a natural water barrier. There's only like 2 ways in and out, maybe a couple more. So it's less to barrier up. You got animals to eat if you needed to.
Unless the animals are zombies too.
Oh, that's true. If it's like a zombie animal thing, that could be a huge problem. A zombie hippo, yeah, you're not making it out.
You picked the hippo out of all of them. I mean, very
Are you
fair.
kidding me? They are the scariest.
Yeah.
Have you seen how fast those huge things are?
Shockingly fast. Like frighteningly fast.
Yeah, and apparently they're not chill at all. So like, regardless if they're a zombie or not, like a hippo's gonna kill you. They're gonna F you up pretty bad, I think.
But see, like I feel like we've hunkered down for a month, 2 months, and if you're looking to move into like a zoo, that's a more populated area near the city center, you know, or near not like even city center, they're just near a more densely populated area. So I feel like there's a greater chance of running into not only zombies but more dangerous groups.
That's true.
Yeah.
So like if we've hunkered down for 2 months and we haven't had any issues, we know our area is abandoned. Like the risk of moving to a new area is very high, not only for zombies but for other groups. And I'm going under the thought of we're not the only survivors out there. There's going to be others. Yeah.
I think that's something that actually gets addressed pretty well in I would say more so zombie TV series versus movies, but a lot of people think, okay, well, how do I survive the zombies? But a very much more apparent threat is the other groups that are trying to survive the zombies as well. So you want to prepare or at least be aware that there are other groups that you might want to be avoiding during the outbreak there too. So very valid. I think I like where your thought was, Gigs, with when I think about where I would go long term, like what's my end goal, my first thought for a zombie apocalypse is always I want to go somewhere like an island that's surrounded by water, because I'm assuming in this scenario these zombies aren't like breaststroking at like 20 miles per hour. So I think I can assume that a little island surrounded by water would be safer than any sort of landlocked area, right?
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. But that does run into the issue of if you're on an island, certain other things become more difficult too, right?
Like, what do you mean?
Like you're gathering food, for instance. Like, unless you're in a place that has reliable fishing, you're kind of hooped, right? You'd have to venture out to go forage or hunt on the regular, right?
Yeah, and it's like a hotspot. Like people are thinking that's going to be my next base. So like, you know, all these like pre-fortified places like a prison or an island, other people are going to see that and be like, I want to move there. But like if we watch like a bunch of these movies and TV shows, people are often just rummaging through abandoned communities. So it's always interesting to me to see like, oh, everyone abandoned the houses, but they instead went to like a prison or like a tall building or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that for a quick second here, because you're right. In a lot of shows or TV shows or movies, we see if someone is trying to fortify somewhere that is not their house. Prison, we've seen that. We saw that in The Walking Dead. We've seen grocery stores being a spot where people will sort of barricade in, and you know, you have all of the food and stuff already there, assuming that it hasn't been all sort of looted out. But a grocery store is a good safe hold. What do you guys think between either of those or like another, I guess, sort of like store or business that would be another valid location to like hole up and barricade for an extended period of time?
The other places I've seen are like weapon shops, hospitals. Like hospitals is like ground zero, but that has everything you need to heal.
Mm-hmm.
I think schools are usually pretty popular too.
Yeah.
I think it's because there's a lot of rooms. It has almost all the facilities that you would typically need. And I think in general, schools are considered like emergency shelters for even natural disasters again. Yeah. So I think most of the times it's anything that's considered a post-disaster facility would be considered as a safe haven for this sort of thing.
How do we feel about shopping malls? I don't see a ton of shopping malls being picked as like a place to barricade in.
It's true. I think it's because it's the washrooms are so far away, you know?
It's the convenience of the washrooms.
It's just, yeah, you gotta like take a 5-minute walk every time. That's too much, man.
I would like to hole up in a shopping mall.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It would be fun, but
a zombie outbreak and Lex is going to GameStop and
I feel like there's too much room. You know what I mean? Like there's too much that you have to cover to shelter, like to barricade. I mean,
yeah, true.
Like there's so many doors.
But then you can like barricade into a single store.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that's true. If it's a good store.
Yeah, like a Nordstrom or like.
I was thinking like I'd be going for like a hardware store, like right off the bat, like a Canadian Tire or something, because I'd want like. See, my mind immediately goes towards camping. I want camping stuff. That would be my go-to. So, I mean, fortunately, I have a Canadian Tire nearby, but like anywhere that has good camping gear would be an awesome place, right? In my opinion, because you have everything else that you need to survive minus food. So it's the only thing that you need to figure out is food.
That's a good point. I keep whenever I plan this in my head, I don't want to say dream scenario because this is not a dream. It's
a nightmare. It should be a nightmare.
In my nightmare preparation scenario, I don't ever think of camping supplies, but like one thing that everyone should probably have is like a sleeping bag, right?
Yeah, you would want a life straw or something you would need water filtration or water purification stuff. You would want things to make a fire. You would want shelter, so you have plenty of tents, whatever. Sleeping bag for sure. You want things to keep you warm. And then they also have survival tools, so that you got axes and hatchets and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, you want camping, because camping is literally surviving, right? In the best, in like giving yourself all the best odds of surviving out in the wilderness is literally, that's just camping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think another thing that I hear lots, this makes it sound like I talk about zombie apocalypse prep all the time with strangers, but what I hear from people is, well, I'm gonna get some sort of firearm or something, and that's what I'm gonna use. But I think what people forget sometimes is I don't think any sort of firearm weapon is a good, like, zombie apocalypse weapon, right? It's like the first thought for everyone, but they're loud. You have to know how to use one.
You have to reload.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand how annoying it is to like top up a magazine.
Yeah.
With like bullets, like pushing in bullets is not fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then even carrying shells and all that stuff. Everything takes forever.
It's heavy.
Yep.
It's heavy,
so
yeah.
heavy. Yeah. Some people will think, I'll be fine. I'm just gonna find a shotgun and I'll be totally fine. But for our listeners here, we've gone clay shooting, where you throw the little clay discs out in the air and you shoot them down. And that is very difficult to do. Like the confidence that I would have in someone who's never held one before to be able to pick one up and use it reliably against these super fast 28 days later types of zombies, I'm like, no, you're honestly better off, like you said, Gigs, with like a broomstick or like a baseball bat. Those are going to be way more reliable than you kind of just going Terminator 2 style out there, just trying to hit whatever you can, right?
Absolutely. What would you, just thinking about that, what would you guys wear? Like, what would be your gear, your loadout?
Oh, good question. Really good question. So for me, I would go with, like, honestly, my motorcycle gear feels like really safe because you're kind of like armored on your upper body. I feel like it's totally reasonable to wear my motorcycle helmet too.
Yep, absolutely. Like that thing, like, I mean, your chin's exposed, but like the rest of your head, you could headbutt the crap out of those things and you'd be fine.
So I don't even need a weapon. I'm just gonna headbutt things left, right, and center.
Yeah, just juggernaut your way through. Like you'll be all right. You got your knuckles are reinforced, so if you really needed to, you could like push and shove, and you wouldn't put your hands, especially if you got like the gauntlet style motorcycle gloves, the ones that go up your forearm a little bit.
Yeah, and then just my hiking boots or like my riding boots, something pretty sturdy that's going to be durable. It's got to be comfortable. It sounds very posh of me, but you have to have super comfortable shoes because you have to assume that when you're geared up and you're kind of getting out there to survive, these are the only shoes you're going to have. So a nice durable pair of hiking boots or something, or riding boots, I think for me is the game. How about you, Lex?
Well, if we're in the situation as we are now, I don't have any protective gear.
Oh boy! Yeah, you got your winter coat. That's thick, right? You got that.
So for the listeners here, whenever we play games together, I'm the one that always needs to be carried, and that's not going to change in real life. You got Gigs and Drew in motorcycle gear, like survival kits, and then you got me with a collectible sword I don't want to use.
Just hoarding his limited edition cards. And we're like, dude, what?
GameStop. I'm like, oh my god, they got a second Zelda sword. I need it.
I mean, in that scenario, I think we're trying to loot you up with some Pokemon cards.
That's true. Well, we would need something to do. That would cover entertainment, right? We get cards.
Yeah.
You don't need electricity for that.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
I think
Yeah.
I think I'd want to be comfortable. Like I'm not gearing up because I have a home base, so I'm not gearing up to be like fully kitted for like days on end, right? I'd probably want like Hokas for sure. Like I need runners.
Mhm.
And if I don't have the option of like a leather jacket to like protect from bites or scratches, I think like a nice puffy winter coat
Yeah.
would work.
I think if you have like a leather or even a faux leather something, that would be good.
Yeah, I got none of that.
Ah, dang it. What about
I'm in
denim?
trouble.
You got a Canadian tuxedo? That'll get you covered.
Oh right, yeah, jeans. I'm the sleepy of our group.
Oh no. I have an extra motorcycle jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna give it to my wife, but I
But
guess
see, like I think also like if
But I guess ...
if we were in like a group setting, I wouldn't be one of the
excursion people.
yeah, one of the hunter gatherers. I would be one of the ones that are fortifying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So I think
that's true.
We'd have different roles. I think I would honestly I would be too scared to go out and loot.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah. You got to be putting those micro machines down at the base of staircases. No, that's fair though. That's the other thing too, is right. You have sort of a role distribution. You don't expect everyone to go out looking for supplies and stuff, doing supply runs. You would have that proper distribution between whoever you're holding the fort down with, right?
Yeah. Like
Actually, you know what? You would be the mechanic. You're the only one that knows how to do like you know how to weld. You know how to
like the
fix
fixer.
cars.
Yeah,
Exactly. That would
And,
be
like,
your job.
yeah, and like for those roles, like I always it's a pet peeve of mine in movies and TV shows when they bring out their healer to runs. I mean, you never
Yeah,
bring
it's
out
dumb.
your one person that knows how to fix wounds. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
You learn that so early from playing Dr. Dodgeball in elementary school.
Yep.
You never put your doctor at risk, right?
Yeah. Versus like all the shows, like, oh, let's put the doctor in front. I'm like, what's happening? You only have one. That's not an easy skill to obtain either, you know?
Not at all. That's
Yeah.
I still forget how to like properly do CPR. Apparently the song's changed. It's not Staying Alive anymore.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something else now.
It was
The
like
tempo of that song hasn't changed.
Oh, the tempo exactly. But I guess it's because kids nowadays they don't know the song. I don't know.
So it has to be a more current song.
Yeah,
golden.
I was gonna say Golden.
CPR golden. I mean, I can see someone just getting carried away with that. So they start with a few chest compressions, and then you just break out into that solo, and you're standing up, you're holding a lead pipe as a microphone, and it's too easy to get carried away with that song.
I was literally just playing it in my head, and I think they're roughly the same BPM. So I would not be surprised. Yeah, they'd be acting all like fabulous and stuff while this dude's like getting chest compressions.
So
Yeah.
what do you think your role would be in? Doesn't have to be in this scenario like with us necessarily, Gigs, but like in a survival zombie apocalypse setting, you're with a group and they have like their doctor, they have their, like you said, they have their mechanic. What do you think your role would be within a group?
Oh, okay. So if my experience in any like survival games has been any indication, I am the den mother usually.
The den mother. Explain that.
So okay, so when I used to play games like Valheim or whatever, I would be the one organizing all the chests and like making sure people had food and were well equipped. You know, that kind of stuff. Making sure everyone's going out with the best possible odds. Yeah, that would be me, probably.
I can see that we know that from when we were in Evo last month. We were going out to the convention, and Gigs always said, "Hey, did you guys eat breakfast? You can't have Red Bull. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. You have to eat something first." So You're always looking out for us in a non-survival setting.
Can't you guys let you go out with like low blood sugars when you're like, you know what I mean? Iron deficient when you're trying to go score us some toilet paper? Nah. That's game over, man.
I feel like your wife is going to really love hearing this section of this episode.
Yeah, she's going to be a huge fan.
That's good. Everyone needs a den mother. You can't, honestly, it's hard to survive if you don't have someone like that, truthfully, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm also the guy that, like, sets up the campsite whenever I go camping with my friends and stuff. Not with my wife, because she's much better at it than me, but, like, you know, I organize, I put things in logical places, and I make sure that things are easy access. Your tools, you don't have to go clambering over boxes to go grab, like, the hatchet. You know, I think about that stuff, so.
What about you, Drew?
If I'm being realistic, I don't think I serve any survival function within a group.
Okay, first of all, you fit in the tightest spaces. Second of all, you are the fastest on foot out of all of us.
Okay. I think that we're thinking if I was in sort of peak physical condition. I think we're not thinking about the way that my body creaks and cracks and when I get out of bed limping because I slept funny.
But that's kind of all of us now. I think out of the three of us, you're still probably the most physically capable.
To squeeze into vents.
No, not even just to squeeze into vents, but just to, like, you know, run fast. More than 30 seconds before you're out of breath.
Okay, that's fair. So I would essentially serve the Glenn function from The Walking Dead, just being the
Asian guy.
The Asian guy of the group.
That was his designation, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
that should be a class, something you could pick at the beginning of an RPG. I just want to be the Asian guy. I know how to make rice in a rice cooker.
Very valuable too. Rice is going to be a really good survival resource.
Actually, that might be one of the best survival foods outside of, like, other grains. Like,
yeah, I actively eat rice every day, so
yeah,
can't go wrong.
I got a question here. So we're talking about ourselves, but we obviously have our families with us. What would our wives be? I'm more curious. We got the den mother, the runner, the mechanic.
Yeah.
But, you know, this ain't a 3-man show. We got, like,
I think my wife would be the medic. Probably would make the most sense.
Oh yeah. Okay. There you go. We got a medic.
Yeah. I think it's the three of us I think already know. I think my wife is going to be the person who makes us clothes and all of those
armor.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Exactly. She'd be the one, like, making chainmail out of, like, cans and stuff. That's the best.
She's very, very crafty, and most of the clothes I currently wear are things made or designed by her. So
nice.
I think very easy for us to have an ongoing textile clothing business from my wife. How about you, Lex?
I feel like my wife would be like a runner with you, Drew. She's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't, like, I keep making the joke of, like, I got to put a bell on her because she just appears.
It's true. She's mad stealthy.
Like, out of the blue. But, like, she doesn't scare easily. Like, when we watch horror movies, she doesn't get the jump scares like I do. Like, I'll throw out my back from a jump scare versus she'll go about her day, tra-la-la-la-la, you know? So I feel like she'd be more brave to, like, see the zombies or danger.
She'd be killing the spiders in the.
Yeah. Like, her class would be like rogue.
That's true.
Yeah.
Give her the little daggers.
Yeah, honestly,
nice little cloak.
That's super important for her to not be spooked. Like, have ice water in your veins. I think we're gonna definitely need that because Like I said, I mean, she can. You have to put a bell on her because she's so stealthy. Meanwhile, me, you hear the sound of Captain Crunch crackling in your cereal. That's just me walking down the stairs. That's what my knees and ankles sound like. So, I would definitely lean on your wife, Lex, to do some of those stealthy runs.
She might be the most badass. We know what she says when we play Anomia. She might be the most. Yeah. She's the coldest out of all of us.
If be our group warlord.
Yeah, exactly. If there's like a trespasser and like there had to be a judgment call about what to do with them, she'd do it.
Like the thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix style.
Okay, we'll have to do a follow up here because our wives will listen to this episode. So we'll do a follow up for our listeners to see if our wives agreed or if we got into a big fight after.
Oh yeah.
That's why I have a go bag and a survival kit at home.
All right, let me switch gears here for sort of our last little segment of our episode. I'm going to kind of step away from zombie survival strategies, and I'm going to kind of ask a more outlandish question. So take this with a grain of salt and just kind of be outlandish for a moment with me, guys. Let's say zombie apocalypse, same scenario, but as a zombie, these zombies are like coherent. They know they're zombies. They're just living their zombie lives, doing their zombie thing. Okay? So you're self-aware that you're a zombie. Do you be on team survival as a human, or would you rather be on team zombie as a zombie?
Like, what do you mean they're like self-coherent? Like, are they actively looking to attack? Like, they're still aggressive towards the living?
Yeah, let's dial it down a bit from like the sort of the rage virus, and let's just say you're just very hungry all the time. So you know you have to eat, but like you still hang out with other zombies. You still do zombie things. You can like walk around. You can talk to other zombies. The main thing here is you just know as a zombie, you have to eat brains in this context.
Okay, so it's like an unintentional cannibal. It's like
yeah.
It's like
think of it like, you know how like in Warm Bodies, I don't know if either of you have seen that movie. Yeah. That one's kind of like a zombie love story thing, but you know he's like a zombie. He's self-aware and he has motivation to do things. So he's not just kind of like mindlessly roaming to attack or eat. He's just like a self-aware thing. He just happens to be a zombie.
Interesting.
I would be on the side of the survivalists. And my main reasoning is that I'm kind of like a germaphobe.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if I could actively like if I'm eating people.
So you would be disgusted at yourself for surviving, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like you don't have like the cognitive ability to know like, oh, I gotta wash my hands before and after. Or
sanitize the person wherever you're gonna bite them because you're like, ew, ew.
I know where you've been. You are in the dirt.
This person has too much leg hair. Ew. Okay.
Yeah, I feel survivalist just because of like the way I live. Like if I'm coherent as a zombie, and I'm assuming I still have like the same lifestyle or memory, but just more zombie mode now. I don't know if I can live that life knowing I'm that filthy.
Interesting.
I like that answer a lot. That's a very Lex answer.
Yeah.
All right, Gigs, how about you?
I honestly don't know. I've never even considered such a thing. I think if I was a zombie in this scenario, I feel like my altruism would kick in, and I would just be like, "Hey, come study me," sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Like figure out the cure.
Oh.
Go do what you need to do to figure out how to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd just like donate myself to the university to
Science.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what I'd end up doing
Yeah.
if I was cognizant enough
Yeah.
about that kind of thing.
I like that, the altruistic route. You really don't hear that very often. I mean, I'm sure I don't have a ton of people who have been posed this question, but I think
Yeah.
that is one of the more unique answers, so I appreciate that. For me, I don't know. I think I'm on the fence also. I think there's some pros and cons, of course. If you're a zombie, the first pro, of course, is that you're not scared of zombies. So you don't have like a
Well, what if
fear.
you are though? What? Because you know what I mean. You sound like you're like still cognizant of it, so maybe you are still scared of zombies. No?
Well, that's true. But I guess in this context, we would have to say maybe that the other zombies aren't actively trying to attack you,
Oh, okay.
right? So you kind of have like zombie immunity. So
Okay.
from that perspective, I mean, to be fair, you may still be scared of zombies, but you don't have to be afraid of them attacking you because you are one. So you kind of get rid of that that fear. I feel like ultimately it's gonna be a really bad reason, but I lean towards being a survivor because I just like eating too much. Like,
Yep.
like regular varieties of food. Like, I know we're talking about zombie apocalypse, so it's not like I'm having like Michelin star food for every meal. But like, if you throw me in the grocery store and you say, "Hey, you have to survive here for a month," and I'm in the potato chip aisle, I'll be fine in there for like 3 years. Like I can.
Yep.
I mean, health wise, maybe not, but I'm gonna be like a pig rolling in mud if I'm in the potato chip aisle of a grocery store. So being a zombie, knowing that I could only eat in this scenario brains, just doesn't feel like the sort of variety that my palate is into. So
That's
I
fair.
do lean more towards the survival route, but I do see a lot of value in, when you're a zombie, you don't have to plan for a zombie apocalypse. You don't have to figure out where you're going to hunker down and barricade, and you don't have to think about having these roles like a healer, like a doctor or anything, right? Because you're just like a zombie. You're just like there existing, doing your thing. So I think that's really the main benefit, is it really takes out the factor of being scared or worried about any sort of survival factor, right?
So,
Okay.
as a zombie, you wouldn't have feeling or emotion?
I think you would in this scenario. We're thinking kind of
Yeah.
like traits of like that Warm Bodies version of a zombie, and he
Okay.
definitely had feelings, right?
Yeah, because like I'm thinking like if you're a zombie, wouldn't you be worried about survivalists trying to exterminate zombies?
I mean, out of all of the fears, yeah, I think one of my biggest fears as a zombie is that someone's gonna run up and smash me in the face with a shovel just for standing there. So I'm like, I'm just minding my own business, and then wham, shovel in the face. So yeah, that's actually a genuine concern. I'm gonna put that as a con on the zombie side.
And what if eating brains, like if you're a zombie, you have brains and it's like the best possible thing you could ever eat. Like it's the tastiest. It's like a dude's skull would be like a jar of Nutella. You know what I mean? Like
That's very valid. I mean, we don't know. We're not
Exactly.
zombies, but that could be the main driver as to why zombies always want brains and nothing else.
it's just so tasty. It's like the best thing you could possibly think of, and that's the thing that you're eating when you're eating brains. Maybe that's what it is.
That could be true. I don't think we're ever going to get it. I hope we don't ever get an opportunity to
That's true, yeah.
to disprove or prove that theory, but that's actually a very valid point. I've never thought of it that way. I just assumed brains is like brains, but yeah, if you're a zombie, maybe that is all you want. Maybe
Yeah.
if I'm a zombie in the potato chip aisle, I'm like, barf. I don't want to touch.
Yeah,
any-
exactly. It's like, sodium. No, you want like whatever's in brains, like that the
Sodium.
macros in the brains are like what you desire so badly.
There we go. That's a wrap for us this week on the Triple XP Arcade. We always love hanging out with you in the party, so please leave a comment below and let us know what your zombie apocalypse strategy would be. Or would you be Team Survivor or Team Zombie? What would be your pick? As I mentioned at the top of the podcast, be sure to follow us on socials because we have our October Outbreak Halloween series of episodes coming up throughout the month of October. That's every single Friday. So keep an eye out on the socials because we're going to post what episodes to expect. It's going to be a really good one, and we're going to keep it really spooky themed throughout the entire month. So until then, game on, stay nerdy, and remember, you always level up faster at the Triple XP Arcade.